Today on the Hopefulist, are kids having to get up too early for school? The triple-double and the nasty keyboard warriors. Can't we all just be nice to each other?
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. It is Taco Tuesday. We had Taco Monday here at the McClure residence. I had hosted a game night with my girls. A lot of people didn't show up. August, very busy. Everybody's got family in town. Everybody's got things to do. It was good. It was fine. There was 5 of us. It was nice. We all could chat together. It wasn't, a little too crazy. So I wanted to mention the tacos that I made. It's always hard to try and figure out what to make for these gatherings because they can be anywhere up to like 12 or 13 people. Last time I had people over, I just made a lasagna. Well, Joe made a lasagna. I'm not trying to take credit. We all know I don't cook. But Joe made a lasagna, and it was plenty for the, 13 to 15 people I had that day because that was a book club gathering. This was game night, so it's almost the same group of girls, but it's different. Some people are interchanging in and out of whichever group we are having that day. So that was easy. Joe makes a lasagna. So easy because Joe makes the lasagna. I cut up some romaine, made a homemade Caesar salad with some of that amazing Marie's dressing. It was so good. Threw some garlic bread in the oven. But I wanted to do something kind of fun and not so heavy, being that it's summer. So I thought tacos would be a good option. So Joe had made a brisket over the weekend. The brisket didn't turn out as good as we had hoped. Joe's got his new grill, still working on some things. It was fine. But he suggested using the leftover brisket for the tacos instead of ground beef. And I'm like, well, all right. I kind of like ground beef in my taco. And we also made, again, when I say we, I mean him, made some chicken so that people could mix and match. I think only one person tried the chicken. I didn't even try the chicken because the beef did turn out so good. So he cut the leftovers of the brisket into like little bite-sized pieces that you would put on a taco. And he told me to get the crock pot out, which I had to dig out. I don't think we've used the crock pot in like 4 years. So got that out. He said put like a half a beer in, the taco seasoning and the meat, and put it in the crock pot for like an hour. Oh my gosh, it turned out so good. It was delicious. So I got the soft shell tacos. I had some sour cream. I made some refried beans. I did the lettuce and the tomato and the taco cheese and put out some sriracha sauce. I made some Spanish rice. Good. The only problem is so many leftovers. I should be having my chicken and broccoli tonight or my chicken and tomatoes. And guess what? I'm going to have taco leftovers. This is why I'm struggling with my weight this summer, people. It's too hard to resist the tacos just sitting in my own refrigerator. Come on now. I talk to my shorts. That's what I should do. Talk to my shorts that are getting snugger and snugger every single day. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So let's talk about Simone Biles. She set this record for the first female doing the triple-double in a floor exercise. If you haven't seen her do this move, check it out. There are some versions of it in slow motion. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm assuming that would be an even better version of it because it's so fast. And the smile that she has on her face after she completes it is unbelievable because she, I'm sure, was just ecstatic that she was able to pull it off. They said that afterwards she was a little afraid that she went out of bounds when she finished it, but turned out she did not. So it was perfect. She looked amazing. Watching her do this reminds me of that song, I Believe I Can Fly. Wow. She is just amazing. So I'm assuming we will be seeing her in the next Summer Olympics when they roll around. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out, please do. Another story that's making the rounds in this area, there are 5 New Jersey schools that are changing the times so high school doesn't start until after 8:30. I seem to remember my high school, and again, this was a long time ago, I seem to remember my high school starting around 7:20. So I know school starts early, and they're saying that, you know, teenagers are made to stay up later and sleep later, and that it's unhealthy for them to be getting up this early, and they're not at their optimum to be in a learning environment because they're so tired, because they're biologically programmed to stay up late. So basically what they're saying is they can't help it. They have to stay up late. Then they have to get up early. They don't get enough time to sleep. So instead of having the children adapt to the world, we're going to have the world adapt to the children. And that is how I view this. This is why the children have so many expectations and think that everybody should bow down to them because we're starting from such a young age. I don't know. I kind of get the biological thing. We all know teenagers like to stay up late. We all know people who like to stay up late, though. Does that mean that everybody should, like, you know, well, I'm a night owl, so I'm sorry, boss. I'm not going to be able to come in till 11. I don't know. It seems kind of crazy to me. The earlier you start to adapt to what is expected of you in the real world, the better off you're going to be, in my opinion. Now, I understand you're, you know, wanting to stay up later. Tough noogies. Go to bed. Just go to bed earlier. That's all there is to it. I know I will get some pushback on this. That is okay. My opinion is you need to adapt to the real world. And if we're going to start changing the time that school is starting to accommodate the teenagers, I think that's setting a very bad precedent. I'm not saying that I think that school time should change. I actually think that it should flip it and have the little kids go in earlier. And it may be different in other parts of the country, but around here, you know, the younger you are, the later you go to school. You know, elementary school starts usually around 8:30. Middle school, probably around 8. And then, like I said, high school, I think, is around 7:20, 7:30. I say flip that around because you are getting up earlier when you're a little kid. And I don't have a problem with that. But if we're just changing the start of school time because biologically speaking, they're not at their optimum, well, does that mean that their boss is going to change what time they need to come in because they're not at their optimum when work starts? I don't know. It just seems like a little crazy to me. Like I said, I grew up in a time where I was told what to do, and if I didn't do it, I was in trouble. Now we live in a time where they tell you I can't do it, and you say, okay, we'll change it for you. The complete polar opposite of what I was used to. I might be a little bitter, might be a little resentful. Maybe I am. I still think that you need to adapt to the real world rather than expecting the real world to adapt to you. So, with that, I'm going to move on to my topic. I was talking about reading. And we were, you know, we always discuss with our book clubs and stuff, would you prefer to read a real physical book or do you prefer your Kindle or e-reader? I am a Kindle fan. I have my Kindle. It's small. It's portable. I can throw it in my purse. I mostly like my Kindle because I have a lighting issue in my house. The lights set up are all kind of across the room from where I sit, so it's not lit very well where I sit in the evenings to watch TV, read, what have you. So a lot of times I have to get out my little book light, and it's just, they're just annoying, the book lights, and then you put your book down, and it's like, it's a hassle. So I like it mostly for that reason. I also like it because when I go to bed, I almost always read when I'm going to bed. And I just get into bed with my Kindle, and it's lit up enough where it doesn't disrupt Joe's sleep. Now, I also do get into bed with my little book light. I've asked him before, does it bother you? He says no. So I will do that. But like I said, it's just kind of a hassle having to deal with the physicality of the book and then the attached book lamp. And it's a lot when I can just open up my little Kindle and everything is right there waiting for me. I love my Kindle. However, I love real books too. I just find them to be inconvenient at this point. There's just something about feeling the book in your hand, the pages, sometimes the smell. Yeah, I love that. And especially if I'm going to be at, say, at the beach or something or outside all day, I have no problem reading a regular book. But if I can, I almost always try to get the e-version of a book. I've been getting a lot of physical books lately because with the book clubs that I'm in, I try to get the books from the library, and the wait lists for the e-readers are always way, way longer than the regular book at the library. So a lot of times I'll just put my name on the waiting list at the library, and then that's what I get. So I still read a lot of both versions. I do typically read mostly through my Kindle, just my preference. So I asked you, what do you prefer, an e-reader, Kindle, or a physical book? So here are some of your answers. Jim says a physical book. Jen says I am an equal opportunity reader. I use both pretty evenly. So there you go. I probably a little more Kindle, but I do use both. Bev says physical books. Karen says book. I love to flip the pages. Yeah, and sometimes you get those paper cuts too. Laura says physical. Linda says e-reader. Debbie says e-reader for most books, but physical book for cookbooks. Oh, well, and let me point out too. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. There are certain books that you have to have a hard copy of. Most of my self-help books, I get a hard copy of because I want to take notes. I want to highlight stuff, all of that kind of thing. So a lot of times what I end up doing is I'll try to get one from the library first, see if it's a book that I think will be worth an actual purchase, and then I'll purchase the book and then reread it, putting all my notes in and all that kind of stuff. Lorraine says a physical book. Marcy says I like my e-reader because you can carry a lot of books at once. That's a good point too. Also, the case has a built-in book light. And Adele says begrudgingly the e-reader. So, yeah, we all love our physical books, but at the same time, the convenience of a Kindle or a Nook or whatever you choose to have, it's just kind of outweighs. That's the other thing, the weight of books. I finally finished War and Peace. I had been working on that book for about 5 years on and off. I remember my sister had asked me one time, she's like, sometimes you go a year or so in between reading War and Peace. She's like, do you start over again? I'm like, good God, no. It's like 1,100 pages. I would never finish if I started over again. It just kind of pick up and start to remember stuff. And that was a very difficult book to get through. I'm very proud that I actually finished it. Like I said, it took me about 5 years, and I did finally finish it when I got it on the Kindle because I was tired of hauling that big-ass book all over the place. And I even had a paperback of it, which still, it was one of those Barnes & Noble's classics books. And also Anna Karenina was another one where I finally got that on the Kindle and finished that as well. It didn't take me as long to finish that one. I actually really enjoyed Anna Karenina. But that was just as long as War and Peace. So anyway, I'm going to move on to my blog post for the day. And this week we're trying to focus on